Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Empowerment Hour, where we dive deep into overcoming obstacles and unleashing our true potential. I'm your guide, Jossie, and today, let's tackle a common foe we all face but rarely acknowledge openly. Self-doubt, that sneaky little voice that creeps in just as we're about to take a leap of faith, to do something daring, something impactful, and suddenly it whispers, "Are you really capable? What if you stumble? Others are outshining you. Who do you think you are to even try?" Ring a bell? Oh yes, that voice is no stranger to me either. Self-doubt is that nagging sensation that questions our value, our skills, our right to shine. It's the internal critic that doesn't just wonder, can I pull this off? It flat out declares, unlikely. And self-doubt isn't always loud. Sometimes it disguises itself as caution. Other times it wears the mask of perfectionism, or hides behind procrastination masquerading as productivity. But at its core lies a single underlying belief. I lack faith in myself. Let's get real here. That belief has robbed too many aspirations. It has halted countless applications, creations, speeches, appearances. Self-doubt didn't originate within you. It was planted. Perhaps someone made you feel excessive. Maybe someone challenged your worth. Or maybe you were raised in an environment where your voice wasn't nurtured, leading you to doubt it. And then there's the external world, forever sizing us up, pitting us against each other, convincing us that we're only as good as our latest accomplishment. Listen up. Self-doubt is just a temporary visitor, not a permanent resident. It's like that annoying friend who always shows up uninvited, whispering doubts in your ear when you least expect it. But here's the thing. Self-doubt is not the boss of you. It's just a pesky side effect of trying to do something bold, something daring. Picture this. You have this brilliant idea that lights a fire in your soul. You're ready to conquer the world, until that little voice starts to chime in. It's not the right time. You're not good enough. What if you fail? And suddenly, you find yourself hesitating, second-guessing, hesitating. But guess what? You are not defined by your doubts. You are not late to the game. You are not lacking in skills. You are not destined to fail. Self-doubt is just a reminder that you're on the brink of something incredible. So instead of letting it hold you back, use it as fuel to propel you forward. Here's the game plan. Acknowledge it. When those doubts start to creep in, call them out for what they are. Say, "I see you, self-doubt." You're not calling the shots here. Celebrate your wins. Keep a mental trophy case of all your victories, big and small. Remind yourself of all the times you've succeeded against the odds. Change the narrative. When that voice says, "Who do you think you are?" respond with, "I am capable and courageous. I don't need to be perfect to make a difference. I am enough just as I am." Take that leap. Action is the antidote to doubt. Take that first step, no matter how small, and watch your confidence grow. Surround yourself with champions. Surround yourself with those who believe in you, who uplift you, who remind you of your worth. Let their voices drown out the naysayers. Self-doubt may be loud, but it doesn't have the final say. So the next time it rears its ugly head, remember this. You are not a lost cause. You are not a failure. You are a work in progress, constantly evolving and growing. So stand tall, face those doubts head on, and declare, "I hear you, self-doubt, but I'm forging ahead anyway." Because your dreams, your purpose, they're worth fighting for. And you, my friend, are worth believing in. Don't let the doubters dim your shine. You're entrusting your future to those who aren't even equipped to handle it. I understand the struggle. I've felt the sting of gossip. I've experienced the pressure of trying something new with all eyes fixed on you, waiting, observing. But let me tell you the truth. Growth is uncomfortable. And criticism is just part of the process. You can't progress while staying in the shadows. You can't lead while trying to please everyone. You can't create boldly while shrinking to fit others' expectations. The fear of judgment will lead you to create a facade that isn't authentic. And that is draining. It's exhausting trying to meet others' expectations. And even then, they'll always find something to criticize. So the real freedom comes when you make the choice. I'd rather be misunderstood than compromise my values. I'd rather be genuine and face rejection than be fake and accepted. You don't need everyone's approval on your journey. You just need to be true to yourself. Now let's dive into the roots of this fear. It didn't just magically appear in our adult lives. From a young age, many of us were trained to conform, to seek approval, to blend in. We were rewarded for being compliant, for not causing any waves. And somewhere along our journey, we internalized the belief that being accepted equals safety. So when the urge arises to speak your truth or stand out, it awakens that deep-seated fear within. But listen closely. Your journey to healing will inevitably disappoint some. Your path to growth will require shedding old beliefs. Your purpose will demand that you embrace being the subject of others' conversations. You can't be bold and hide in the shadows. You can't be grounded while seeking shaky validation. Let me reaffirm something to you. You are not too much. You are not too loud. You are not a burden for desiring more. You are a disruptor, destined to stir things up. You weren't put here to make everyone comfortable. You were meant to show up authentically. And truth tends to shake things up. So how do we confront the fear of judgment? Here are some practical steps to face it head on and move forward anyway. 1. Acknowledge the fear. Speak it into existence. I'm scared of what others will think. Sometimes just voicing it diminishes its power. 2. Identify the source of the fear. Whose opinion are you truly afraid of? A parent, a former friend, a critical voice from the past? When you pinpoint it, you realize how limited its influence really is. 3. Envision the worst-case scenario. What's the worst that could happen if they judge you? Would the world come crashing down? Would your worth diminish? Most likely the outcome is discomfort, not destruction. 4. Reframe your focus. Shift from what will they think to what will I miss if I don't act. That shift alone can be life-changing. 5. Strengthen your commitment to your mission. When your focus is on impact, not approval, you move with liberation. Remind yourself, I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to shine. So today, ask yourself, am I seeking applause or alignment? Applause fades. But alignment? That's where your peace resides. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. You don't need everyone to understand. You simply need to keep moving forward. Even if they whisper, even if they mock, even if they misinterpret. Because your purpose drowns out their opinions, and your future is far too precious to be steered by fear. If these words resonate with you today, drop a comment below. I refuse to shrink. We're going to talk about something that silently shadows so many of us. Even the ones who look confident. Even the ones who are doing big things. Even the ones who seem like they've got it all together. Let's talk about imposter syndrome. You know what I'm talking about. That heavy feeling that says, I don't belong here. I'm not as capable as they think I am. I got lucky. Eventually, they'll find out I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, that imposter syndrome whispers that you're a fraud, even when the evidence says otherwise. It makes you question your seat at the table, even when you built the table. And what's wild is, it doesn't wait until you're struggling to show up. It shows up especially when you're succeeding. New job? Here comes imposter syndrome. Big opportunity? Here it is again. Recognition or praise? Cue the internal panic. And you start thinking, if they really knew me, if they saw all the doubts I have, they'd take it all back. But let me say this to you as clearly and compassionately as I can. That voice is lying to you. You are not a fraud. You are not fake. You are just growing. And growth always feels unfamiliar. Imposter syndrome thrives in high achievers. The people who care, who try, who strive for excellence. It doesn't mean you're unqualified. It means you're stretching. And here's something else. Even the greats feel this. I'm talking Maya Angelou, Michelle Obama. Brilliant minds, bold voices, legends. And yet, they've shared that sometimes they too felt like they didn't belong. So if they feel it, what makes you think you should never feel it? You see, imposter syndrome doesn't always go away, but you can learn to stop letting it drive your decisions. Let me ask you something. When did you start believing you had to be 100% confident to be qualified? Confidence is not the requirement, courage is. You don't have to feel ready to show up. You don't have to feel smart to contribute. You don't have to feel perfect to take the next step. What you do need is this reminder. You've got receipts. You've done the work. You've grown. You've overcome. But imposter syndrome will make you ignore your own progress. It'll convince you that everything you've done doesn't count, that it was just chance, or someone else helping, or just being in the right place at the right time. And here's how I know that's a lie. Because if it were luck, it wouldn't be sustained. If it were luck, you wouldn't have repeated wins. If it were luck, you wouldn't still be standing, learning, trying, evolving. That's not luck. That's you showing up and again. Imposter syndrome makes you forget your evidence. So it's time to remind yourself what's true. Let's talk about how to push back against it. Because awareness is the first step. But we're not just here to be aware. We're here to be free. Here are a few real ways to move through imposter syndrome. 1. Name it without shame. Say, I'm feeling like an imposter right now. That doesn't mean it's true. It means you're human. Naming it gives you power over it. 2. Keep a proof folder. Collect those messages, wins, compliments, Moments where you made an impact. Revisit them when doubt tries to rewrite your story. 3. Talk about it. The enemy of imposter syndrome is community. When you say it out loud, you'll be shocked how many others say, "Me too." 4. Replace the voice. When the thought comes, "I don't belong here," replace it with, "I'm learning, I'm growing, and I bring something valuable to the table." 5. Stop waiting to feel ready. Action builds confidence. Every time you show up despite the fear, you train your brain. I can do hard things. Let me tell you something powerful I learned. You can doubt yourself and still deliver. You can feel shaky and still stand tall. You can hear the imposter voice and still say, "Thank you for your opinion, but I've got this." You were chosen for the spaces you're in, and even if you feel like you don't measure up, remember, you didn't sneak in through the back door. You're not lucky. You're not a fluke. You're called. You don't need to prove your worth. You need to own it. So if this message hit home for you today, I want you to pause right now and speak this out loud. I belong in the room. I am not a fraud. I am becoming everything I was created to be. Say it again if you need to. Write it down. Put it on your mirror. Tattoo it on your mindset. Because this is the truth. And truth is what sets you free. If this episode spoke to you, drop this in the comments. I am not an imposter. I'm in process. And don't forget to subscribe. Share this episode with someone who needs it. And come back for more real, rooted, bold conversations. And remember, you were never an imposter.